Okay, so that's Amy Campbell. That's our music today, Janette. And
She's very talented.
yes, she is.
Was she at the Junos?
I don't know. I don't know.
That was on the weekend.
I can't believe you. Were you there?
Was I there?
You,
No, I
you
didn't
seem
go
to be on
that.
all the other red
I
carpets all
know.
over the city.
I know. Doing my job, for that channel.
Yeah. So, okay, great. So we got Jordan Davis here now from Sun Life in Toronto. Jordan, welcome to that channel.
Oh, thank you. Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for having me here today.
Now, it's great to have you here because we're talking about something that is really important, and that is a financial plan. Is it a financial plan we're talking about today?
Well, a little bit. Well, financial planning encompasses a lot of different things, so we won't be able to get into everything today, but we'll cover quite a few of those points.
But at least
today.
we're talking about the importance of a plan. Because
of course.
Isn't there like an awful lot of Canadians that really don't have a financial plan?
Well, I was studying statistics, and apparently about 83% of Canadians have absolutely no clue what their income will be like when they retire.
Well, that
Wow.
obviously represents a huge growth opportunity
And
for
isn't
you
it
guys.
also true that the average Canadian is between 20 and 25,000 in debt?
A lot of my clients, I would say, even higher. A lot of clients who have families and a new home could have I've seen $70,000 in credit card debts, some with an interest rate of almost 30%.
Wow. So with no plan and all this debt, if you're looking at a person's financial situation and you're getting them to be serious about having a plan, what's the first thing, what's the first element? Because I know there's 5 elements. What's the most important element that you always get them to look at? And why?
Well, probably the most important, especially if you have a family, is to look at protection. If you have a one-income family, and let's say that spouse, will say, with children, the spouse didn't come home one day or got really sick and wasn't able to bring in an income, what would happen to that family?
Actually, we just had somebody on the show last week who said that they were the walking poster child for that kind of protection that you're talking about, because her husband died and she was left with the kids, and if it weren't for the life insurance, she would have been, they wouldn't have had any, they wouldn't know what to do. They would have been probably out on the street.
And it doesn't cost that much. I mean, when you look at the big picture, it's a very small percentage of your income that would go towards protection.
So why are so many people so reluctant to put that small little bit away and incur, like, what is the problem? Is that are we too much of a consumer-oriented society, that we're just so interested in spending that we don't think about saving, or what's the problem?
Well, I think the main thing is, going back to the plan, is clients don't know what their goals are. So when I sit down with a client, I ask them, what do you want to do when you retire? I mean, I've done this with 26-year-olds. And, they laugh when you first ask, but I say, well, you are 26. Let's take advantage of the time we have. What do you want to do when you retire? Do you want to travel? Do you want to play golf? I know we're not thinking about grandkids because they may not have kids on their own. But I ask, what do you want to do? What are your parents doing now that they're retired, and what would you do differently? And then we work backwards. How do we get there?
Wow, that's great. Because I think it's very hard to envision yourself 20, 30 years down the road, but unfortunately life goes by so quickly, and then you're smack dab in the middle of it and you haven't planned properly.
It's too late by that point.
It's too late, yeah.
Can I give you a statistic?
Yes, go
sorry,
ahead.
It's a plan that I've showed young clients. I took a 20-year-old and I asked them to give me $100 a month until they're age 30. And at age 30, assuming we were putting them into a balanced portfolio, maybe a 7% rate of return, they'd have around $17,000 at age 30. Now, if we let it ride, no more money coming in, they'd have over $184,000 by the time they were 65. Wow. Then I took another client, just as an example, a 30-year-old, putting in $100 a month on the same plan till age 65, so they're saving for a lot longer. They'd only have around $172,000.
But still, that money's going to come in handy, especially if we can't depend on pensions from the government as we grow older, and we don't know what the economy is going to be like. Why do you think that? I mean, is it because there's been such turmoil in particularly the American economy that's affected portfolio stocks? Is that part of the reason why we're reluctant to make that plan, or?
I think the media plays a kind of negative role in a lot of ways because we're still reading articles about the American economy. And the Canadian economy is doing really, really well. I mean, a lot of my clients who are in balanced portfolios, some of them are getting between 7 and 9% just in the last year. Now, we can never guarantee rates of return based on historical performance, but if you have a 20 to 30-year plan and we put you in a balanced portfolio, the chances are you will have somewhere around 7, possibly even 8% return. Now, again, we can't guarantee that, but historically, the numbers don't lie.
So you keep saying balanced, and you mentioned already that the first thing is to look at the protection part. What else constitutes a balanced portfolio?
Well, I like to put my clients into mutual funds, especially if they're younger. A balanced portfolio might have 3 or 4 different types of mutual funds, and that could be a whole other show, but essentially what I like to do is look at a client's income, take 10%, put let's say 3 to 4% into protection, and the 6 or 7%, and put that into maybe 3 different types of mutual funds of varying risks. So we have some low risk, some medium, and maybe some high, depending on your risk tolerance. And then that's how I construct a portfolio. So there's a lot of different details, but that would be take a couple hours to go over.
Okay, so as a financial planner, what is it that you bring to the table? What do you think you're doing for the client exactly? Let's say different than an insurance person or even a mortgage person, because we have, you know, I brought all the guests today to kind of give a full view. What do you do differently in constructing the plan?
Well, the biggest thing is I think when I meet with most clients with little kids running around, maybe only one income, they have this big giant marshmallow over their head. And when you have a big giant marshmallow over your head, what do you do with it? It's so overwhelming. So what I help clients do is sit down with them and we go over it. We take one bite at a time until we get through that marshmallow. So I don't just look at investing money and protection. I also look at their mortgage. What rate are they paying on their mortgage? Are they paying 18, 30% in debts? So what I help clients do is look at ways to consolidate their debts. So a mortgage broker is an amazing person to work with, especially one that really knows what they're doing. And you have some guests coming on next, which I'm sure we'll go into that. But what they'll do is they'll shop around and get you the best possible rate on your mortgage. And at the same time, they'll probably consolidate those really high credit card debts into your mortgage. So we're not going to change your mortgage payment, but we may be able to get rid of that extra, $600 a month in a $30,000 debt that they might have, and use that $600 that we've saved. And this is something I see all the time. We'll take the $600 and we'll use that towards the beginning of a financial plan. And for most cases, that does the job, at least for now.
Okay, so what other elements would you be looking at, though? I mean, these are really important things. It could certainly help families get ahead a lot faster. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us about that you can do for your clients or prospective clients that can really help them live a better life?
Well, another thing is a lot of clients, believe it or not, and they don't know it, they say no to free money.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Oh, yeah.
I like
Talk
the sound
about that.
of
Free money.
already.
I like free money.
So what I mean by that is, let's say a client, a lot of people don't understand what a registered retirement savings plan is. Sometimes companies have pension plans, and oftentimes we also need to supplement that with our own RRSP, so a registered retirement savings plan. So essentially what would happen is, let's say, and I'm just going to use general numbers, let's say you had a 35% marginal tax rate, so that's what you pay on your income tax every year, and you put in $1,000 into your RRSP. When it comes to tax time, the government's going to give you $350 back.
Wow.
So you're paying yourself $1,000 for your retirement, and then the government's going to give you an additional $350 back.
Wow.
So free money. Another good example with pension plans at work. Sometimes companies do a pension match program. There's different names for it, but essentially, if let's say the company says, okay, if you give us 2% of your salary to this pension plan, the company says, oh, well, we'll match it 2%. So let's say $200 you put in, company will match it at $200. So not only you don't pay tax on that money, you just got 100% return every month, year after year after year, and then the interest on top of that, plus a income tax refund for the money you put in.
Wow, that can certainly help have a different, maybe of another vacation or even another vacation home, something like that, right?
Yeah. And another huge part is RESP. So those are registered education savings plans. So I have clients with young children who don't have any savings. And then I have clients who are in their 50s who didn't do a savings plan. And instead of using the money that they have left over because their mortgage is paid off, they're using it towards their children's education rather than for their retirement. So in RESP, essentially the way it works is if you gave me $50 a month into this plan, the government's going to put in 20%. So every $50 you put in, that's an extra $10. So I did a plan with a client who said, oh, well, we're just going to put in $50 a month. So we added it up in their bank account, and it only worked out to be around $11,000 over 18 years. However, if we registered it with the government and put it in a nice, diversified, balanced portfolio, they'd have around $26,000 for their child's education. So that's a $14,000 difference. Just
free money.
Of free money.
Right? Basically, yeah.
So you obviously can do a lot for your clients. And I actually just wanted to talk a little bit about you now, talk about what makes you sort of a little bit different than other financial planners. I know from your background, I read that you have a business degree and that you were living in Japan for a while and working with doing some amazing things over there, working with companies. How do you bring all that to the table? How do you feel that really helps you to be a better or different financial planner?
Okay, so the main thing that I like to start off, I started actually investing in mutual funds when I was about 13 or 14 years old. So I had a paper route from when I was 8 years old, and I saved virtually every cent I have. And my father took me over to a financial advisor, and we put it into a mutual fund, and actually helped pay for about a quarter of my university.
Wow.
I didn't live at home, so I had to pay for my own place to stay, etc. But I used money that I had saved when I was younger, and I made quite a bit of money on that. Now, I've always enjoyed it, and I think when people ask how much experience I have, well, I can say, well, I've had almost 20 years of experience, even though I wasn't, doing this for other clients. When we look at Japan, I was working for companies like Sony and Toyota Motors. I was teaching high-level managers how to interact when they would travel abroad to places like Canada or the States or to Europe. So I did a lot of fun things when I was over in Japan from the business side.
Were you teaching them to be more rude, less polite? Because that's probably
essentially, yes, I was.
How did you teach them how to make more money or have more money for the future?
Well, in Japan, I didn't actually teach them necessarily the same things that we're doing today, because they have a completely different system over there. But we did talk about how the markets worked, and how we talked about stocks and different companies. And around that time, I remember before I left, that's when the housing market crashed in the U.S. and people were losing their homes. So I remember a lot of our free conversation time that we always had had a lot to do with those types of things that were happening in the market that were affecting, people who were investing.
So have you always wanted to be a financial planner?
No, I didn't. I always wanted to be a teacher. That's essentially why I went to Japan. I love teaching, and I think that I've brought a lot of that to the table when I meet with clients. So most of my clients know exactly what they need to do, and they know how to get there, and they understand what they're doing with their money. So a lot of times when I meet with clients, they don't know what the rate of return is. They don't know how much they're going to have at retirement. So I teach them how to understand what they're doing. And the best thing in the world is when a client calls me up and says, Jordan, I got a 3% raise last week. When can you come over and increase my savings by 3%? Because remember, we want to save and have 75 to 85% of our pre-retirement income. So if our income increases, which we all hope that it does do that, we need to increase our savings at the same amount, for the same percentage. So it just amazes me that what I can do to teach clients so that they know what they're doing, but they still trust that I'm going to help them get there.
Okay.
You
So
know-
how can we get in touch?
Wait, I have a
Do you
good
have a
question. I'm just trying to remember it, Janette.
Okay.
But it sounds like the teaching, the skill set, the teaching skill set that you bring to this is really important, because it's hard to believe that 83% of Canadians don't have any kind of financial plan or retirement
Well, they
plan or
don't
anything
know
like that.
what they're going to have, so they think that the government's going to take care of them.
Yeah,
and
they just haven't thought of it, and I think it's really important, because when I think about, I could have made some better choices when I was younger, Jordan, and I think you were really fortunate to have your dad take you to that financial planner when you were 13. I kind of wish I would have done the same with my paper route money. But so the sooner you can start, the better, obviously.
Oh, of course.
So people out there watching this can think about maybe doing it for their kids, not just for themselves.
I agree.
And is it ever too late to start doing your financial plan?
Well, the fact of the matter is, the earlier you do it, the more you'll likely have. And I did give that example earlier that, you could save a little bit when you're younger every month, which you're not going to miss. It comes right out of your paycheck month after month. You're not going to miss it. Or you could wait until, okay, the house is paid off, kids are about to go to school, and I have no retirement fund. And it's never going to be a good time to start. So the idea is, start as young as possible. Money comes out of your bank account the day you get paid, and you're not going to miss it. Really, you're not going to miss it.
I have to say, I love the commercial. Every time I see it on TV for the Sun Life, when if we only had a plan, and I keep thinking about that myself too. Especially, I don't think that the government's going to be there to support a bunch of we're an aging community. We're baby boomers that are getting older and older. A lot of families now, I know for a fact, having seen it on TV, that are not traditional families, are not married, single families, blended families, lots of, planning issues, education issues, debt issues, that sort of thing. So I think it's kind of foolish if we don't think about this and just sort of think there's going to be a safety net out there for us. And I'm glad that someone like you can help.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, Jordan, but I want to ask Sun Life. There's a lot of different companies and different kinds of companies kind of in the financial planning business. Can you just tell us why Sun Life is good people to do business with?
Well, when I did come back from Japan, I did have to find a company. I decided this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I did interviews with many different companies. I think in a sales type of position, any company wants you, just because,
Sure.
well, whatever you make is what they get.
So you were interviewing them.
So essentially, I would,
Yeah.
yes, I would agree with you. I was interviewing different companies. As much as they were interviewing me, I was interviewing them. And what I really liked about Sun Life is they were completely honest with me about the how many people don't make it. They told me all the negatives about being in the job, and they were so upfront and honest about it. Where when I was interviewing other companies, I kind of felt like, okay, well, if they're telling me this, and Sun Life is a really, really successful company, just as much as the next guy, what am I missing here? So I went in and I met many different people, and a lot of other companies, I would meet one person, where when I went to Sun Life, I met a gazillion people. They had lots of different managers. I met a lot of people that who were in the business. They wanted me to really understand, this is what you're getting into. And that's why I went with Sun Life, because I knew what I was going to get into. It's been a few years, and that hasn't changed. So I appreciated the honesty, I think, when I got into the company, and that you work with your other coworkers. Even though your business is your business, you work with other people who have gone through what you've gone through or going through.
And can people, when they're talking to you at Sun Life, are you able to offer the complete range of investment products to them?
Well, I'm going to offer a wider range than most people, because we do insurance, we do different types of investments, we do types of estate planning that you're not going to get through a lot of companies. So I'm going to be able to offer, I think, a larger picture than I
Yeah.
think most companies. So having an advisor that has their life insurance license and either their investment funds license or their Canadian securities license is going to be able to give you a lot more range of choices than someone who maybe just has one or the other.
Right.
And plus, because I'm an advisor, I'm going to recommend, because I work with a network of people who I don't get paid to send people to a mortgage broker or to a real estate agent, or if someone calls me and says their daughter's getting married, where should I go? Where should I buy flowers from? I mean, this is part of my job, is to help clients in every which way of their life, even though I'm not getting paid, because it is a relationship-based business. And I'm here to be with them essentially until the day they die or I die. I mean, if you think about it.
So you have a giveaway today, which is a complimentary assessment, right?
Yeah, so I'll do a full financial plan for either an individual, family, or a business. We'll look at estate planning. We'll go as far as you want, but I mean, it's worth about $250 in time for me to do this. And it's a free giveaway, and you'll get a full report as to your retirement plan, protection plan, and we'll just encompass as much as you want to have done. And
Okay,
of course,
great.
the full plan is
Okay.
available for you.
So we should give
Right.
the number so we can.
You know what? We're going to have people email us. Because
Okay.
they may be seeing this on after
Okay,
the live
great.
show, right?
So the email
just
address.
Give us an email here to contact us at thatchannel.com, and we will get back to you about it.
Okay, and
get in touch
how,
with
how do
Jordan.
we get in touch with you? Where's your contact info on your web?
Okay. I'm going to say the best way to contact me. So my name's Jordan Davis. So jordan.davis@sunlife.com. I'm going to say is the best way to get a hold of me, and I'll respond within 24 hours to your questions or concerns.
Okay,
Great.
and do you have a website?
Well, we do have it through the Sun Life website.
But you don't have your own.
Yeah, so through Sun Life, if you went to sunlife.ca, you could put in the search, just type in my name, and then it'll have my little Sun Life, I guess, web. We'll
Page.
call it a website. We'll call it a web page. But really, until you sit down with a client, you don't know what they're going to need, and everyone
Right.
has a unique situation. So really, it's sitting down with an advisor, which is going to give you, I guess, the most. And it doesn't really cost you any money to sit down with someone and have someone assess your situation.
Plus, you want to deal with somebody that you resonate with, somebody you feel
Oh, of
comfortable
course.
with. And so people watching this right now, they're getting a sense of who you are and what
Oh,
you
of
can do.
course.
So, so they can send you an email and you get the process rolling, right? Okay. All right, Jordan.
Okay.
Thanks a lot
Thank
for coming
you.
in today.
Thank you very
Again,
much.
jordan.davis@sunlife.com. And, right? It's
Correct, yeah.
sunlife.com, right? Okay. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with Joanne Petrantonio and Rebecca Lucetta right after this, thatchannel.com.
Mortgage and